Thanks for joining us. This is our usual Poultry Spaces. If anything goes wrong and we crash, guys, we must just come back and follow the table shaker. Yeah, that's that. So today we want to talk about black soldier flies. This is something that I've been doing research on for a long while, and it's actually one of the alternatives that we're going to use to a protein alternative, right? So I'm going to start that project sometime during the course of, I think, the next 2 months. So we invited a few people actually who are already doing your black soldier flies. But I see that we only have one speaker currently. Also, Amanda, how are you doing and how are things going?
I'm running up and down, but um, I want to contact Barbarian Farmer right now. Oh, he's actually in the space, but you can't see him. Okay, let me invite him. Um, yeah, and then I think you can just start but I have my phone on me, and I only need about 5 minutes. I should be fine. I'm inviting him now. I don't know if my powers are allowing. There you go.
Awesome. Okay. Um, all right. So yeah, guys, as you will know, we have a challenge with feed prices that are rising every month. We've already had our first increase this month. Yeah. What is this? That increased this month. Super Grand increased. I used to buy your grower 355, and I just paid for grower right now before I started the space. It has increased to 365. And what used to be the cheapest feed, as far as I was concerned, the cheapest feed brand was Afgri, and because Siakula was cheap initially, but it somehow, since it is now part of your DAs, it's quite expensive. So I moved to Afgri for a while, and also the prices just went up. I saw the starter now is something like 385 rands, and the starter for NutriFeed, I think, is sitting at 414 rands. So obviously, I think as a farmer, you'd want to try and look for alternative means and ways. And I've also learned that actually this week that as soon as you get into farming, it doesn't matter what discipline you're going to start with. What is going to happen is the more you are in there, you're going to experiment with various things. You're going to find yourself planting crops. You're going to find yourself doing layers here and then broilers and so forth until you eventually find the place where you feel like, look, this is me, this is where I'm comfortable, and this is where I'm supposed to be. And yeah, and this is where we are going. So generally, so you must understand that I intend to use black soldier flies for my chicken feed, but our speakers will educate us more and better on what we can and can't do. Yeah, I think we're ready to start. Also, Amanda, you wanna take it over before I go to one of our speakers? Okay. I'm not getting any response from her. We can start with Mr. Sbu. You can introduce yourself, and then we will go to the barbarian farmer.
Evening, everyone. Um, I'm Sbusiso. I do black soldier fly farming, but urban fly farming. If you check on my bio, there it says urban fly farming. Uh, don't expect to see a farm. Hello,
Yeah, we can.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, my brother.
Oh, it's a big. I'm getting a bit feedback here. Let me just sort this out. Can you hear me now?
Studio clear.
Oh, okay, now. Yes, I do black soldier fly farming, urban black soldier fly farming. I'm in Joburg, based in Primrose, to be particular. I
Okay, got that. The barbarian farmer, talk to us. How you doing?
Hi everyone. I'm doing quite great. I don't know if everyone can hear me.
You are clear, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm doing so well. I hope you guys are well where you are.
Yeah, we are wintering. It's quite cold, but we are fine. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's cold everywhere this time.
No,
Okay,
definitely.
I'm back. Sorry. Good to have you, Barbarian Farmer. It's nice hearing your Kenyan accent, as you had said. Thank you, Black Soldier Fly, for joining us. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm all yours now.
Yeah. So no, we were doing the intros now. The barbarian farmer was about to introduce himself, tell us who he is, where he is, and what he does, and then we will take it from there. Barbarian farmer, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you repeat what you just said, please?
Oh, I was saying that if you can give a quick intro of yourself, where you are, and what you do, and then we will take it from there.
Okay, thank you. My name is Ragot Emmanuel, or as I'm known on social media as Barbarian Farmer. I'm from Kenya, specifically Western Kenya, somewhere called Homa Bay County, and I'm a poultry farmer. I participate actively within poultry value chains, and also on the other end, I do African leafy vegetables, so the traditional vegetables that we have here. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And then what I also want to do before we continue, I want to extend an invitation to all the other black soldier flies farmers or people who have experience with them. They can also request the mic and join us, and then we'll have a discussion and probably ask a bunch of questions towards the end of the discussion. I'm not sure whether this is going to be a short space or a long space because yeah, I'm still at research stage as far as the black soldier flies is concerned. I see my brother Zizwe. You can talk to us.
Hi, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's good tonight.
We're good. Can hear you. Thank you.
All right, cool. I remember seeing your post about the worms, and it really had me thinking. And based on what you just said right now about food scarcity and the prices, I was thinking, is it possible to industrialize the food market for the chickens and so forth, just to make like a proper industrial farm where we farm them specifically to distribute to other poultry farms, because I'm thinking about that grand scale and looking at the funding groups that there are available to us that could actually give us that kind of money for us to do this. So I'm thinking to myself, how do we make it happen whereby we get whatever amount we get and we pay it back through the idea that you have?
Okay. Thank you, my brother. I will get back to your question. If you don't mind, you can just hold that for me, and I'll get back to it once we are in the discussion. So, also, Amanda, I'm not sure what do you do now. Do you want me to introduce the topic, or can we let our guest take it away?
Um, I think perhaps they can give us an intro on what black soldier flies are actually farmed for. Are they farmed, or are they kept, or are they captured? And basically what they are farmed for, or why they are a good source of protein for chicken feeding?
Hi everyone. Black soldiers are fun for a specific reason, especially for feed production. Namely, all your chickens, your pigs, your fish, they are a good source of protein. Apparently, they contain more than 40% protein on them, as compared to soya, which is well known for being a what you call. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Like as compared to your soya beans, which is used as your chicken feed, they've got a greater advantage in terms of protein level. That's what I can say at the moment. But I haven't done my research in terms of feeding chickens. I'm heavily reliant on my what you call on my clients when they give me feedback. They are very much happy and they are particularly recommending it.
Awesome. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Thank you very much.
You can mute your
You
mic
can
for
mute
me.
your mic for me.
Um, Barbarian farmer, I want to find out. I understand that my brother here, Mr. Spoo, he actually keeps them and he sells. Yourself, what do you do as far as the black soldier fly is concerned?
On my case, I don't do them for the commercial purpose of selling, but I do them as a means of supplementing my poultry feeds. I haven't gone to the point of using them for pig feeds yet, but I'd say when it comes to the introduction bit of it, the black soldier fly is just a type of fly that it's used to produce crude protein that can be used directly to feed animals. And the beauty of it is that there is no further processing needed for it. It's as good as it is for the animals, as compared to the soya beans that you have to first roast them before they are crushed for them to be ready to feed the poultry or pigs or any other kind of animals on the farm. And then the beauty of black soldier flies is that as a fly, it doesn't feed. So there is the advantage that it does not possess the risk of transferring any diseases to the poultry. It only reproduces once it's an adult fly, but before that is when it can actually be eating. So keeping the fly itself is a little easier. And then when it comes to sourcing them, for me, I started mine just as simple as it could. The eggs were laying, the flies used to lay their eggs just on my farm. So I started just picking them from my chicken droppings over time and accumulating for some period. Yeah.
Okay, so this is interesting. You saying that you just saw them on your farm and you started keeping them from there. You didn't have to go and buy them.
No, I didn't
No,
have
I
to go
didn't
and
have
buy
to go
them.
and buy them.
Once I knew what the flies looked like, what the black soldier fly larvae looked like, I was able to just pick them from my farm because on my poultry houses, I have raised structures of poultry where the dropping goes to the ground or to a surface that I can collect it. So on that surface, that's where the flies started laying their eggs and hatching them into larvae. So once I knew how to identify them, I started picking them right from the poultry under the poultry houses on my chicken droppings. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so I will come back with the next question to you because I would like to find out in what form are you feeding them to your chickens. Mr. Sbu, can you tell us if I am in South Africa and I would like to get this black soldier fly, do I start them as larvae or do I start them as black soldier fly as a fly, and where would I get them?
Most preferably, you should start them as eggs, so you get to know the whole process. You've got your in circle, they sell them. They go about, if I'm mistaken, it's 100 rand per gram for the eggs. And mine, I got my eggs from Protein Master. I see them there on the space. They are the guys who told me everything. I got my knowledge from them. But most preferable, you get them as eggs. and then you hatch them from that stage up to until to the level when they become flies. You have your colony, and after that you start feeding them to your chickens as larvae after finishing the whole cycle. If we don't
Awesome.
mind, can we invite the player, what you call protein master, and they are the masters on this. Sorry, I'm not
I've
marketing them, but
actually added. I've tried to invite him.
oh, okay. Oh, because I feel they are the masters of this in terms of on educating people on how exactly it's done. Yes, I'm part of the group as well. In Joburg, I'm the one guy you can contact in terms of getting your eggs. Unfortunately, at this time of the year, it's winter. Just like chickens, I believe most guys they don't sell chicks during winter because of low temperatures. It's very hard to breed them during winter because you have to maintain a certain temperature at all times.
Okay, thank you very much. Barbarian farmer, please tell me, in what form do you feed them to your poultry? And are you giving them to layers or are you giving them to broilers?
Um, in my case, I feed them to my poultry as larvae. That is after they have hatched from the eggs are now look like, I'd compare them to maggots. So at the larval stage of the fly, at about once they've clocked about a month, between 1 month to, let me say when they're approaching their 1 month period when they can now hatch into flies, just before they start turning black and going into hibernation before they finally hatch. That's when I feed them to my poultry. And in my case, I don't do broilers. I do the improved version of the indigenous chicken. I don't know the improved versions of the roadrunner chicken. That is what I produce largely. So that's what I feed them to. And normally I don't feed them to the laying stage birds because with that case there will be high protein content in their meals. I normally do it for my growth stage birds between 1 day old up to the 4th month of their growing.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So I like what you're saying there. So this is basically a protein and fat worm. Um, I want to find out now. Let's say I want to dry them and feed them to my chickens. Not alive, because I did see that some people tend to complain that no, they don't want to feed them to the chickens while they're alive. Mr. Spoo, you want to tell me how do you then get them to dry? How do you? I don't want to say how do you kill them. I'm not sure if I'm using the right term here or what. But how do you get them to be to a stage where you are packaging them? Because I understand that you are packaging and also selling as well.
Yes, you can dry them, but most of my clients they want them alive. I'm not sure how they do it, but on my side, you get to let me use the term chill them using boiling water, and then you transfer them. It's either you roast them in your microwave on your stove, on your oven, or you microwave them. That's basically it. Or dry them, natural, dry them, just put them on the sun, and then, but drying them on the sun, it only dries them up from the outside, not the for totally drying them for storage. If you are drying them on the sun, the the life, what we call, they don't
Um,
you don't have to store them for storage purposes. You don't have you can't store them for long as compared to microwave and um, putting them on an oven. But
oh
usually
yeah.
I sell them live.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned sorry, my brother, if you can mute your mic for me. So you mentioned that if you dry them on the sun, you probably only be drying the outside and they're not gonna be dry to the inside. I get that. Now, this microwave that is being used to dry them, is this just a household appliance or is this a specific type of a microwave? If I may ask, before I move to the barbarian farmer.
at the moment it's a household, a 42 liter, because those machines are quite expensive. We don't have them that much yet in South Africa. You just have to import them from China. So if you are doing large volumes, you are looking at importing them from China. I'm doing about 300, 500 kgs per month, and so I'm able to dry them on a microwave. If a client wants about 20 kilos, I'm able to do that for my client.
Okay, thank you. Elsie, you can go ahead.
I just wanted to ask a follow-up question, Kuputisbu, that since he's saying that we can't store black soldier flies for long, so would it be a bad idea to mix it into feed, maybe maize and all other things that are sunflower seeds and all of that, mix and keep um, to feed to a batch of chickens? How long exactly can I have the black soldier flies that are already prepared? But Zizwe, did you want to answer my question?
I just wanted to add on to the question that you're asking, because what I was curious about is I was trying to figure out if we could make the worms into juice and store it somewhere somehow, and then make it last longer that way. I don't know if that would work.
Okay, I think maybe the barbarian farmer can take that question. And Butsiwe, could you please answer my question?
Um, Sorry about that. You can store them for more than a year. The ones that you can store for more than 6 months or 3 months are the sun dried one. The microwave dried one, the oven dried one, you can store them for more than a year.
All right, thank you. Barbarian farmer, did you catch Zizwe's question? Barbarian farmer?
Yes, could you repeat the question, please?
What I was trying to ask is, can you make the worms into juice and store it in some form of way for it to last longer, and mix it within the food?
I don't think turning the worms into juice is really an option in this case, because then it would actually, I don't know how you'd mix that into your feed, because that would mean the feed would be wet, and then you'll be having again some other chances of microorganisms or some infections growing into the feed. The best way is what our friend Black Soldier Fly has just said. You dry them either using the sun or the microwave, and then you store them. Although I see that for storage, you can actually go for the plastic bags, ones where you can store them airtight, and once there is no aerobic reactions going on within that bag, then I think they should be able to stay quite longer. Although in my case, I've actually only experienced the use of a sun dryer, not just airing them out in the sun, but when you actually create a sun dryer, I'll try and share one on my tweets once this is done. But when you actually use a sun dryer that is designed to actually dry it, I don't think there will be any issues of any liquid or any wet nature of the flies remaining in there. It's actually possible to dry them using the sun and just be able to store them for the same period as the microwave if you use a well-designed sun dryer, that is.
This way you can actually freeze them. Well, you can keep them on a freezer when you want to use them at a later stage. You can use them. Freezing them is another option of storage as well.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so greetings, Os Amanda. Thanks for joining us.
One
Os
rat.
Mama.
No.
Os Mama, thanks for joining us. I had a hell of a day. Okay. Yeah, there's one thing that I look. I have a 1,001 questions, guys. So if you can just bear with me, I've been thinking, can human beings consume the larvae? can they? Is it safe for human consumption? Because I realized that you can actually make protein, and you can also extract oil because they are quite oily as well. So you can both take turns at this if you want, and you also welcome to raise your hand as well. So yeah, can human beings consume this? Is it safe for human consumption?
Tested them. If you have eaten what you call this mopani worms or
Yeah,
some
I've eaten onions before.
or your grasshopper. In fact, the grasshopper, it tastes more like your grasshopper depending on how you try it. If it's microwave dried or if it's oven dried, it actually tastes like more of your grasshopper. I've seen some videos in Indonesia, UK, they're actually eating those. Out of curiosity, I did test them. They're tasty though.
Okay, noted. Thank you very much. Thank you. So at the moment, we're still talking about the larvae. I know that we were going to move to talking about the fly itself, and then we will also talk about the eggs, and we will talk about what they eat and the conversion of the feed, to understand as to if you feed them, let's say, 100 grams, what are you expecting from there? Um, I don't know. I think that Zizwe had a question. If there's no question, I am continuing. My brother, do you have a question?
Yes. Yes, I do have a question. I was thinking now that you asked that question, now that it's the worms are edible, do you think it's possible to make protein shakes, not just for humans but for animals as well, for sports and all this? Because I'm thinking money here, and this sounds good. Like it feels like you could make five more different streams of income just from this one line of animal, and that's why I'm thinking about the industrialization of it as well.
Okay.
I actually, sorry. I actually saw one scientist. She's based in Cape Town. She's actually making shakes out of this. I tried making contact with her. Unfortunately, I didn't get any response. She was making. I saw some videos. She was doing some shakes, some protein shake using the larvae.
Is there a network problem, Abuti?
I can't hear Sbu. Can anybody else hear him?
No, I can't hear
No,
him
can't
either.
hear
Not
Bully.
anymore.
Okay,
Am I
fine.
audible now? Can you hear me
Yes,
now?
you are.
Yes, I was saying. Actually, there's one scientist. She's based in Cape Town. I tried making contact with her. Unfortunately, I didn't get any response. She's making protein shakes using the larvae from the black soldier fly
Protein
Okay,
shake for animals or for human consumption?
for human consumption, and they are doing some bigger pets using that as well.
Wow.
all right, fine. So, okay, can we then move to the stage where, let's say, for instance, I want to start them like tomorrow. Okay, I understand that I need a net. Now, tell me, this net that I am going to use, can I go into a shop and buy a mosquito net and then hook it up over my wooden structure, and then and take it from there? Can I do a type of a DIY like that, or is this a specific type of net that needs to be used? I think now we're gonna go through the process of how you keep them, and until you reach to a stage where we are talking about them right now. um you can go ahead and answer this one, Barbarian Farmer.
Yeah, when it comes to the setup for keeping the black soldier fly, I wouldn't recommend you to use just the normal nets. The preferable net is called an insect net that you will actually just get a local. For me, I use the local tailors, sorry, to just design it to the dimensions that I need or to the framework that I want to do it on, which for me was a 1 by 1 by 1 meter kind of frame. That's where I put my net on. And so far, I think it works better. I have the feeling that an insect, the normal net can actually have the challenge of maybe tearing easily or the insects moving out of the net, although the flies seem a little bigger. Yeah.
I've attached the tweet that the barbarian farmer once shared, the love net. I just wanted to ask, I see that there's a tree inside and it's around water and it's under shade. Is this the perfect setup for farming? Because this looks like you are actually farming the black soldier flies.
Actually, that's for humidity control because you have to maintain a certain humidity and a certain temperature. I feel the reason why since it's an outdoor, by looking at the picture, it's an outdoor farming. I do an indoor farming. So for you to maintain a certain temperature and certain humidity, then you introduce your plants there.
So can you do indoor black soldier fly farming?
I'm actually doing it. I'm doing it in my cottage. I'm not in a farm. I'm in a suburban area. I'm doing it at the back of my yard in a cottage.
Would you mind sharing pictures of that so that we can see what you're talking about and we attach it here at the top? Do you have a tweet like that where it's showing?
Yeah, I do. If I go to my timeline, let me just try and if it's possible for me to send it to you.
All right, thank you. I will also try to search your timeline.
Actually, going to the question of the net, you can't use a mosquito net because it already is treated with chemicals. Thereby, what you are doing, you will actually kill your own flies. So your net should be clean. And, that's not treated with any pesticide or any chemical on it.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that the importance of having these spaces, guys, because you see, you have people like me, layman, just just wanna start things, eh? And I was going to buy a mosquito net. Wow. Okay. All right, my brother. Thank you very, very much for that information. Just so you guys know, I am going to start the project, and my brother's Boo here, since he's about what 40 kilometers away from me. 35 to 40 kilometers away from me. He's going to do the practical part of it with me. And he will probably show me where to buy these things and whatnot. But I figured like it's gonna be a little bit selfish if I just do it and we don't bring the guys here on the space so we explain what's happening. Okay, guys, I wanna just take this and take a quick summary of what this is about for those who don't know what it's about. So based on what I have read, okay, I'm gonna take a break and hear what the barbarian farmer has to say before I continue. You're welcome, my brother.
Yes, what I wanted to point out is that the tweet that I made that has been shared is a walk-in type of net. You don't have to interact with the insects from outside. You can actually just unzip it and walk right in. And for the setup, when Tebosheka asked if you can do it indoors or outdoors, I think an outdoor setup would be very best because the flies tend to get more active during the day or when there is the weather is a little hotter, and it's when they are active that they actually get to mate. When there is no enough light in the setup and there is actually a cold temperature, then you'll find that they get dormant and just perch on the net. So that is the challenge that one has to really be keen on.
It, gee, what's wow. It's quite interesting how farming a fly could have so much that you have to know about, or actually do as we do with ventilation of the chicken house and lighting and the warmth, and humidity. It's actually quite crazy that something that other people could see as disgusting would be um, needing so much in order to add value to your chicken farm, basically. Because I don't know if it can black soldier flies be fed to grazing stock, actually. Either barbarian farmer or Sbu can take this. Can black soldier flies be fed to grazing stock?
From my research, actually yes, but if you convert, mix it with other what you call your yellow maize and stuff, definitely yes. Your what I know for a fact, I feed my dogs with the larvae, I feed my fish and chickens as well. But from what I read through the research done by the US, is it called FSD or something of some sort? You can do that as well.
Okay, so clearly black soldier flies are like Mobani worms. They are definitely like Mobani worms. Ausnoma, do you have something that you want to ask before Abuti Tsohang goes to his next phase of the space?
No, not at the moment, Osamanda. I'm actually here to learn a lot. I was a bit late to the space, so I'm just gonna let Tubutuhang, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm gonna tell a layman story of what I think is happening here because I'm 00. Okay. So what I think happens here is you get the eggs and you incubate them, and then somehow from the eggs you get the larvae, which is what looks like worms or the protein slash fat worms, and then you feed them garbage, but good garbage. I'm talking here kitchen waste and stuff like that, and then they reach a stage where they are grayish, where they are still youth, and then when they become darker, that's prior to before they what you call puberty or so. So and then you take them at that stage and you use them for what you want, but you leave some remaining ones so that they can become what you call your black soldier flies, so you can continue the cycle and over again. And my understanding is that the flies don't eat; they only drink water, and only the larvae eat. So from there on, I continue the cycle again. That is my layman's understanding. You gentlemen can correct me if you want before I continue telling more of my understanding on this. So I want to then move to the understanding of how do you then keep the flies, because we've spoken more about the larvae, but how do you keep them, the temperature that is required and the lighting that is required. Can I keep them on the outside? Are they doing well in the rain, or do I need to put them in my house, in my chicken house? And yeah, so I will go there. But if you are not okay, I see Table Shika has a question. You can go ahead.
Sorry, Abuti, to take you guys back a little bit, because I don't think I picked up on what do I feed the larvae. If it eats, what does it eat? Do I feed it?
Oh yeah, I gave the summary so that after I've given the summary, we can then be able to go back and ask questions based on that small summary of understanding, you see. Okay, so yeah, I think we can take it from there. You're welcome, my brother, Barbarian Farmer.
Yes, when it comes to feeding the larvae, I don't think there is actually anything as good garbage. The larvae is actually like, it's more of a dustbin. As long as the waste is organic and can be broken down, it will eat it. And then you can even feed the larvae using your chicken droppings or your pig droppings. Still very safe, and in fact, it's even preferable because it helps you break down the chicken manure, the pig manure further into, can I say, farmyard manure that is actually ready for use for the plant. So for someone like Norma, you really need to take it up because your poultry droppings can actually be turned into ready manure that you have to just use on the farm directly. So they'll take in anything on the kitchen waste. And then I prefer the simplicity of it in that I don't have, because maybe where your setup is, you don't have enough kitchen waste to feed the larvae in bulk. But when you're using your farmyard manure as a source of feeding, a source of food for the black soldier fly, then I think you are really looking at an immense potential there.
Okay, thank you. Quick question. Oh, okay. I wanted to ask if you feed them dry or wet food.
The food you feed to the larvae should not be dry or wet, it should be moist. Wet, too much wet would mean that there is no enough circulation of oxygen in the food. And then when you're feeding, I normally add a little wood, is it wood shaving? Not wood shavings, sawdust. I add a little sawdust into the food and mix it just to make it moist enough for them to move freely in there and actually break down the chicken manure. I think Black Soldier Fly has something to add on this. I'll let him do that.
Coming to your questions, just the two that I picked up here. Keeping them, I do at indoor farming. Maintaining the temperatures, I use artificial, what you call, artificial light, which produces a certain amount of heat as well. So when it comes to feeding, it's strictly vegetables for me, but not every vegetable that comes out from your fruit and veg and stuff is fed to the black soldier flies directly. You have to treat it. There's a way of treating the waste first rather than just feeding it to the black soldier fly because you introduce some pathogens and so forth.
Noted. Yeah, guys, I've told the story. If you have any questions based on the short summary that I have given from the egg to where we're starting the cycle again, you're welcome to to ask. Otherwise, I will continue. So I just want to find out. It's my understanding that once the black soldier fly has given you the eggs, it leaves, I think, what was it, about 8 to 12 days or something like that. You'll correct me. But tell me, what do you do with the dead flies?
Dead flies, for me at the moment, I'm selling them to what you call your pet shops. They feed those to your birds, your parrots, and some of them I reintroduce again them to the feed. Right? You can use it as manure as well, but the majority of it is being taken by pet shops. They use it as a pet snake. Pets love them a lot.
Okay.
Barbarian Farmer, did you have something to add?
No. I
Yes.
missed. It's fine. Barbarian Farmer can continue. I'll come back with a follow-up question.
Yeah, for me, the dead flies, I simply package them as part of my farmyard manure and just take it to the farm directly because it's still good as manure as well. Here, there is not so much to do with pet shops, so my only option is to use it on the farm.
Okay, noted. I wanted to ask, I heard Mr. Sbu saying you reintroduce them. and then for some reason it cut. I'm not sure where you said you reintroduced them to. But let's go to my co-host Osnoma. You can go ahead.
Yes, sorry, I just wanted to ask this question. I'm not sure if I missed it. You mentioned that the food must be moist, right? For example, you can give them manure. So how do you actually moisten up the food? You mentioned putting wood shavings. I suppose that's to like make it less dense. But please just slightly explain that for me, barbarian farmer. How do you actually moisten the food? How does it work?
Normally, because the black soldier fly, uh, if it's my kitchen waste, I normally blend it to make it into smaller sizes so that they can eat it faster and help them grow faster. And then once I blend it, it means I add some water into it when it's being blended. And then when I'm introducing it into the lava trays, I mix the blended waste with some wood, but they not wood shavings. I'd call them sawdust, the very fine ones. The wood shavings are a little bigger, so I add it with the sawdust and then mix it up. As long as I just get it moist enough that they can actually find the food is moist, where they're living is moist, but they don't have to drown in the water or make it look like it's so swampy in there for them that they can't move around easily. If it's too watery, again, you'll find them trying to escape from where there is so much water on it. So as long as you make it moist and you see that they are moving in there well and not having any trouble with it suffocating them, then I think it's just okay.
Perfect.
Okay, now that we're talking about water, how do you give them water, guys? I saw that some people are putting in a cotton wool or something like that, and there I was thinking I'm just gonna give them water in a chicken drinker, you know? How do you give them water? Sorry, you can go for this one, Mr. Spoo.
Can you hear me? What
Yes, we can
you
hear
don't
you.
give them, you don't give them water directly. It's either you wet in a cotton wool or a cotton cloth. What they actually do, they suck the water out of the cotton wool because these flies, they are heavy, they are huge. So if they fall into the water, they don't fly. It's either you introduce a bowl full of cotton wool, which has been soaked in water, or either you spray on the net and then they suck the water from the net.
Noted. Thank you very much. Barbarian Farmer, please tell me about the odor from this from the operation. Does it smell bad? Is it an attractive smell, or will my neighbors fight with me if I just put it up here in the suburban area outside?
I really think most farmers never really have trouble with smell because I don't know, it looks like the scent is part of our life. So what I'd say is actually the only odor when or smell that comes out when you're doing black soldier fly farming is in terms of the attractant. The attractant is normally placed inside the love nest. It is what attracts the black soldier fly to the point where they will be laying their eggs, because when they lay their eggs where they are sure there is food, so that when their eggs hatch, they can actually get something. The young ones can, the larvae can actually get something to start eating on. So that is the only smell that may be present within the black soldier fly farming. But in terms of the larve trace or where the larvae is, I don't think there is anything to do with much smell, because you know they are breaking down the waste material or the manure into processed manure that is now just looks like soil. So they're pretty much taking care of the smell for you as they feed on it.
Awesome. Thank you very much. So yeah, I think now let's move to the process that I want to do is I obviously want to feed them to my chickens, right? But I'm not going to assume that you would know at what stage I must feed them. But I understand that they are full of protein. So my guess would be I would have to use them a lot at the startup phase. Yeah. So the next question would be, let me see, because I have here 101 questions. Okay, the conversion ratio, guys. So I have my larvae and I want to start feeding it. But now the question is the waste, or I really don't like the idea of calling their food waste, guys. It just feels like we are being unfair. But yeah, the waste that I'm going to bring. Um, can you do you understand, or maybe do you have an idea of the conversion that it takes? Like if I give them, say for instance, 1 kg of waste, what am I expecting from there? And if I am looking for 1 ton of larvae, does that mean now I need to come with 1 ton of waste, or do I need to come with 1.5 ton of waste to get 1 ton of larvae? That's basically what I want to understand, because I think that is going to be the biggest challenge when you have them and you finally find that you don't have food to feed them. You can go for that, the Bavarian farmer. But before you continue, I just want to say, guys, please understand that what Aus Table Shaker and Norma are doing for us is quite a great thing. They tend to bring speakers for us here who normally charge for their services. I just want to mention that, and sometimes I feel, this is why sometimes I feel a little bit reserved when it comes to questions, because I know that even myself as a consultant in wet services, I usually charge an hourly rate. And every time people ask me questions, I actually invoice for that. But it seems like here it's it's free of charge, so it's quite difficult for me to make peace with. Guys, please, just especially on this particular topic, because I understand the value of the larvae. I understand the money that is in it. So it's actually, guys, I must say, I thank you very much for joining us, our guest speakers, because I know that people charge to give this type of information. And yeah, and it's the same as Os Amanda used to say. She will host spaces and talk about poultry. But if you want to consult, you call her and she will tell you what she charges, and she will come out to your farm and go through some of the things with you. I also do that as well for a few people here on Twitter who will call me and say, come to my farm, check the orientation of my house and so forth. And by so saying, Mr. Spoo down here as well, he is our local guy as far as the black soldier fly is concerned. So don't be surprised, guys, that you might not necessarily get all this information that you are looking for beyond the space, free of charge. I just want to mention that you must understand that when people come here as our guests, some of them are professionals in what they are doing. I'll give you an example. We'll be calling a veterinary doctor like Os Amanda has done in the past, and they'll come and join us. And then we ask that, guys, if you want to ask a question, pick the mic up and ask. And you decide, no, I'm going to let this trade go. And then later on, you go into the DMs and you send a picture of a dead chicken, then you start asking questions.
Yeah, no, guys, and I said this even last week that we're hosting Q&A for you guys, and then we give you guys the mic, and only Zizo has been brave. I don't know, is it English because of Barbarian Farmer? Now you feel like, oh my God, because the Kenyan man can't understand this is Zulu. I can't request the microphone. Guys, we'll translate. Come through, ask questions, because BSF will charge you 15,000 rands to give you this information that he's giving us for free now in the space. And Dr. Justice charges you a certain amount for WhatsApp video call to look at your chicken. He will charge you first, you pay. But here in the space, he comes mahala, ha ha ha. So come through, guys. The microphone is open. It's 8. The space started. at 7. The floor is open for people to ask questions. Come through, ask them, ask these guys. They are not going to answer you after this. Mani Pambili. Yes, but Zizwe.
Oh yes, thanks for saying that. I actually remembered. I have a cannabis and a hemp company, right? So I heard problems about insulation. So I don't know. I could create like hemp insulation products for the poultry so that during winter you guys can farm. Hemp is actually good for that as well. It keeps warm when it's cold outside. It's warm inside. When it's hot outside, it's cool inside. So I don't know, guys. It's something I'm thinking of doing. If it makes sense, we could do offtake agreements and we create fabrics for you guys for insulation and so forth.
Okay, please come through to our space next week at 7, and then you can just give us more information on that, because now we'd be going off topic. I have questions, but would be going off topic. Yeah, so what I wanted to ask in regards to black soldier flies, you guys said that it's hard to farm them when it's cold or when it's winter. So do they die? Do you have high mortality rate, or do they just not reproduce? Barbarian farmer? Guys, am I audible?
Definitely,
Yes, I
yes.
can hear you.
Okay, but Spoo, please take that. I think Barbarian farmer is having a network issue.
Just like we said before, the flies, they need a certain a minimum temperature and a certain humidity. So in winter, the temperatures are very low. To maintain such temperatures, it becomes so expensive, especially if you are doing outdoor. Indoor as well, it becomes expensive in terms of keeping the lights on. So it's all about the temperatures. If your temperature, just to give an example, if it's below 25 degrees Celsius, definitely there will be a stagnant growth on your larvae. They won't grow that. They don't grow that much.
Okay, so they don't die, but they just don't grow as well as they should.
Definitely.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yes, Barbarian farmer?
Yeah, I think the challenge with the winter weather as well is that they are mostly active when it's hot or when it's warmer. So when it's warmer, then they're active. That's when they actually mate and can lay eggs that you can hatch into the black soldier fly larvae. If it's cold for them, then they are not moving, and that means their adult stage is just going to waste, and you're not getting anything out of it.
Makes sense, because even in the chicken house, if it's too moist in summer, you would find worms if you take too long to clean the house. But in winter you can it's hardly ever find a worm in the house. Abutistukhang, what you
Yes.
can.
Yeah, I'm still here. I mean, obviously, one would be wondering what exactly am I gonna do with this, guys? As I've indicated in the beginning, we have a challenge in South Africa as far as feed prices are concerned. So we host these poultry spaces trying to come up with an alternative to certain ingredients. And I'm looking at your larvae as an alternative as far as protein is concerned, because I understand that it's a good replacement for fish meal as well, which is also part of the ingredients in feed production. And I'm still doing research on the part where I had I might be able to replace a certain percentage of soya bean with it. But yeah, that's basically where we are. I have watched a few videos where guys are feeding them directly to their chickens as they are unprocessed and whatnot. And I understand that especially layers, they do certain things to your eggs because they are full of proteins. And over and above, we will go further to look at how to extract oil and so forth. But I guess for now, we focus more on keeping them. And what I want to understand is so, my brother, Mr. Sbu, if I come to you, as I will come to you this weekend, will you then be able to say to me, here is the shops where you can buy everything? Or will it be a situation of DIY? Or do we have shops in South Africa? You don't have to mention their names, sorry, because we don't advertise for them. But for those who have interest and would like to start, if I come to you and say, look, I am ready now, can I walk into the shops with you and buy everything I need from shops in South Africa? Is this doable locally? Basically, that's what I'm asking.
For the shops, your nets, yes, I can show you. Any other shop, you can get those. But for artificial lights, you can only source them in China. We don't have the artificial lights yet, the right artificial lights in SA. You just have to import, import them from China. And the eggs, yes, we can find them in special from the breeders. You've got companies in Cape Town. There are a handful, I guess there are about 3 or 4 big companies in SA. That's for your eggs. And any other thing is a DIY.
Okay, yeah, and just a follow-up question quickly there. If you can tell me how much does 100 gram of larvae cost or in SA at the current moment?
At the moment, 100 brands. Okay, I'm not advertising. Those are the guys that I sell to. They are selling 100 grams for 100 grams. That's a
Okay, yeah, no, that's bloody expensive. 100 grams for 100 rands. Mr. Sbu, did I hear you well?
I don't know what's happening here.
Mr. Sbu?
I think his phone is acting up, freezing or something.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure. Did he say 100 grams for 100 rands?
Correct.
I
That's
didn't.
that's definitely what I heard.
Yeah. 100
Yes,
grams,
like so.
100 rands. That's a retail online.
Wow. Okay, that's quite something else. That's quite expensive. I would like to know what they're doing with them to be buying them for that price. It's really quite expensive. Okay.
Actually,
Yeah.
I guess they sell those to guys who are doing who are into fishing. They're one of the best baits when you are doing your fishing. So they actually sell those to people in hatties for fishing and sorts of things, and they feed them to your geckos. You know, uh, those exotic pests. They love those things.
Okay. Yeah, and let me see. I think we have a request here. Let me deal with this one. Okay, we have that. So I want to find out, do we have a new speaker now? Okay. Amanda, do you see the new speaker?
We have, yes, sorry Abuti, we have Ungomane connecting. Asnoma, did Nala take you? Because she's quiet. Go on.
No, I'm here. I'm actually here. I'm actually doing a lot more listening than speaking tonight. But I'm right here. I'm right here. I actually wanted to find out I've got a follow-on question on the 100 grams for 100 rand. How much does it actually produce? Like how many of those black soldier flies will a person get from that amount?
Actually, those who are buying the 1 kg for 100 rands, they are not meant for reproduction. It's more of your end users.
Did you just say 1 kg now, not 100 grams?
Oh, sorry, 100 grams. It's just that I sell 1 kgs to them at a certain price, and then they sell. In fact, I sell 1 kg less than 100 rands, and then they resell it 100 rand per 100 grams.
What? I want to resell them too.
No, market, guys. You know that the market is the thing here. I actually looked at that as well, and I realized that unfortunately, guys, we have to be our first customers because this is why you hear people complaining about access to market, access to market. I don't want to mention names, but my brother down there will tell you that certain things we cannot sell to certain people because they want only from specific people, and I understand that dynamic, but we're not going to dwell on that right now. It's certain, like I said, there are certain products that you cannot sell. You have to sell through other people. Okay, we have a new speaker, Ngomani. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, yes. Can you guys hear me well?
100%.
Hundreds.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody for facilitating this space.
Marana, my question wasn't answered, guys, was it?
Noma,
Apologies. Osnama, I think I made a mistake, guys. I do apologize for this. Osnama, was your question not answered?
No. I wanted to find out what the production, like from that 100 grams, like how many black soldier flies
Oh,
does that produce? I just want to paint the picture in my head.
No, but 100 grams, you can't build a colony out of it. Are you talking about the eggs or the actual larvae?
The eggs.
The eggs. Okay, it's entirely dependent on the feed that you give to your larvae, because obviously there will be mortalities within that thing. But you are most likely to get between your 30 to 40 kgs or more.
Wow. Okay.
all right. We will move to the new speaker. Guys, when we come back, I'm going to ask you a question as to how many eggs does one fly lay. Let's go to the new speaker. You're welcome to join us.
Hi, guys. Sorry. Yes, I was basically wanting to ask a question. I see we were moving on and wanted to slightly go back towards the upkeep or the keeping of the black soldier flies. And I'm hopefully asking the barbarian farmer to address this question. My question is just with regards to the interaction between the black soldier flies and livestock. So, for instance, let's say you've got chickens and you're keeping chickens. Typically with chickens or with pigs, you've got the normal domestic fly in the environment. My question is, what is the interaction between the black soldier flies and your animals that you would be keeping? And the second part of that same question is more regarding getting rid of the domestic fly as a pest. From the little bit of research that I've come across, is that the black soldier fly somehow competes with the domestic fly, and you can actually get rid of the pest fly, domestic fly, by introducing the black soldier fly. So I'm just hoping if I could get that question answered, please. Thank you.
Yes. With regards to your question, what I would say is this: the black soldier fly, in its nature, outlives the domestic flies that is present within our homesteads. So for one, if you are to do the black soldier fly, even if the house flies were to lay within the same boxes, then by the time that the black soldier fly would be hatching, the house flies would have already been hatched and are, would be gone. And then the second thing is that is what the reason why your research told you that you can get rid of the domestic flies using the black soldier fly is that as the black soldier fly larvae feeds, it emits some, would I say, chemicals that are actually that act as a repellent to the domestic housefly larvae. So in that case, where you find the black soldier flies are in bulk, you would really not find so much of the domestic fly larvae. So that is why you can use it as a way of getting rid of them. And then with in terms of the interaction of the black soldier fly with the livestock that you have on the farm, remember we said that the black soldier fly itself does not eat as a fly. It can only drink water. So because it doesn't eat, it means it is not in a state that it can actually transfer pathogens from the food you're feeding them to the livestock that you have on your farm. So in that aspect, you're kind of safe. And then the beauty of it again is that with the black soldier fly, the larvae, as it feeds on the waste, is it animal waste or if it is your kitchen waste, as you feed it to the black soldier fly larvae, the process of breaking down that waste into the byproduct of the black soldier fly, that is the manure that you can actually now use on the farm, the digestive process of the black soldier fly larvae actually breaks down even the potential of any microorganisms existing with it, that waste or the byproduct in the end. The digestive process produces some, let me just term them again as chemicals that cannot allow pathogens or microorganisms that would cause harm to your livestock to actually exist in the waste product that the black soldier fly larvae produces at the end of it. Oh, and what I've just said is as per research that was conducted by the International, is it the International Center for Insect Physiology, and it's called ICIPE. The organization is called ICIPE, and they're the ones that are major pioneers of the black soldier fly larvae production as a protein source for both humans and animals. You can check them out if you have the time.
Wow, this is amazing. Ngomane, are you answered? Do you have a follow-up question?
Thank you so much. I'm very well answered, and I really appreciate the detail with which the Barbarian farmer answers the questions, and he has a lot of information. So fantastic. Really, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. I don't know, Abut, if you had any more questions. Guys, I think we've gotten quite a lot of information from these two gentlemen. And if you guys
Yeah.
are not going to come up to ask any more questions now, then we're basically going to be headed towards closing the space. Maybe some of you are not ready, but we do share when we are going to be having a space, or we share the topic so that you guys can go read up on it. And we do share why we're actually going to do that particular topic. Because basically, guys, this is a solution space. And if you guys are not gonna read up or try to understand or grab the opportunity to learn and to better yourselves as poultry farmers, so that we can sort of own something in the value chain of poultry farming, then I don't know, man. I don't know. Papa Rola, Akhabuti.
Hi, good evening. Thank you. First question: did you get someone to propose to you, Norma?
Unoma, guys, namthanda unoma. Unoma ushadile. Yimi ongashadile.
Oh,
What the
well,
heck?
yeah. Sorry, man. Sorry, I got confused. The two personalities, Latswana, man. Anyway. Anyway,
She's taken, my brother. You can proceed.
okay. No, I actually asked this because the last time I was in this space, she was pleading for marriage or something like that. And
No, they didn't. Bantaba. They didn't. I get why abuti Tsogang asaba tlikinyale. Kore he's married, but he doesn't want. He's busy closing my channel. What's going on? Do you want a second wife?
you see now. I see. All right. No, that's fine. The space is always informative. I haven't been too much vocal modi spacing, but more as a listener. But I'm a full-time poultry farmer. My black knows, and maybe and those that know they also know. But I do this thing as well. We're in the same space. We're in the same business. We probably face the same challenges now and then, and the space is here to assist those that really need to. But what I really want to say, ke gore, I know when Table Shaker, you've been very vocal about asking people, to sort of being vocal and ask questions so that we can create a better platform for the farmers, not only obviously poultry, but in general, all the farmers. And I know a lot of people are a bit resistant in terms of that. And you've been asking, or is it English, or is it confidence, or is it what? But sometimes maybe not that. It could be motho o mo, cornering yana gagwe, le gore it's quite difficult, and maybe they're not opening up, but they're on the space to listen and stuff like that. Now, as a farmer, uh, in the last 3 months or so, I decided to be physically more involved rather than being just a farm owner or manager or an administrator. So sometimes kind of especially, and I would be like listening, but really busy feeding chickens, pumping water, taking this as part of exercising as well. So what I want to say to you, Gore, just don't be harsh on us if you don't come on as speakers or request the mics, but just share the information, and we are listening, and we are really getting uh, value from the space. And then normal, I see your WhatsApp status as well. Yeah, congratulations, Mongwaneng. I haven't said that before, but I see you like everything about the journey that you're in. Bye, Black. Yeah, so uh, it's all good, and everyone else, even if I don't mention you. But we're family. I love you all. I just wanted to say this. Thank you.
Thank you, Abuti. Wankomanya, I hear you very well. I will not komanya you guys anymore. But I mean, I would love for you guys to ask, because these people actually, somebody came back after a space, the Q&A, and sent me a WhatsApp to ask, Konje, when the chickens lay a bloody egg, if my brother, you in the space, I'm sorry, Nay, I'm just using you as an example. Um, what do we do? Is it a disease? Is it, and that question could have come up in the space, but I guess some questions only come up once you start experiencing certain things, because he found a chicken that had laid a bloody egg on that particular day, and that's when it came back to him that, no, man, they about this in the space. Konje, what was the solution to it? So I do understand, and we're not gonna stop, guys. My threats are very empty. We will never stop doing poultry spaces. This is for a purpose. We're going very far with this. Yes, Putungomane.
I'm sorry to detract from the love that's being shown here, but yeah, I just have another question that's probably directed both to the Barbarian Farmer as well as the Black Soldier Fly proteins. My question is in terms of replacement. So we're talking about replacing fish meal or soya. Can you use the Black Soldier Fly larvae as a complete replacement for your protein requirement when it comes to feed? Yeah, thank you.
Um, you can't do that entirely because there are some nutrients which are required within what you call within the feed of a chicken or a fish. it replaces about 40%. As far as I know, it's about 30 to 40% replacement of the actual feed.
Barbarian Farmer, was
Okay.
that fine? Do you have anything to add?
I think what Black Soldier Fly has said is actually the truth. You should replace about 30 to 40% of the feed. Although in when it comes to the broilers, I think you should actually be monitoring keenly the reaction of the birds to the black soldier fly larvae as you feed it to them. Because I hear again with broilers, when it is too much high protein intake and the feed is already formulated to actually prompt fast growth in them, then the replacement ratio should be slightly lower. But I'm not sure. I'll do more research on the same and then share with you guys.
Great. Thank you, Buzz. Buzz. Keleto, good evening.
Hi, Table Shaker. Hello, everyone. Bratohang, Asnoma. You guys are awesome. Thank you for these spaces. Um, my thing, like, I've also been doing like some research on the black soldier fly and the larvae and what, and like I've seen like some research that's been done about like how much you can replace the black soldier fly and what percentage you can put it in. And what I've realized is that, like, there's a problem. The number one issue is the fat content in the black soldier fly, ne? And I think you also, Amanda, will be interested, because in layers you can't really fully, from what I've read, replace the protein source, like the soybean meal, directly with black soldier flies, because of the fat content or the energy content. And usually what they do, ne, is they extract the oil, and then the defattened soybean, I mean not soybean, black soldier fly meal, they use that as a replacement for the soybean meal. So if anyone, I'm really more interested at this point with the oil extraction part of it. I think like that's the part that really excites me. I would really like to get involved with that. If there's anyone that knows anything about that, speak out now, please, or reach out to me, please. There's a lot of potential in the oil extraction field. Someone here was also, I can't remember if it was Zizwe or who, said he's also involved in cannabis, and there's also the same process, which is CO2 extraction, can be used to extract cannabis oil. So yeah, whoever is interested, let's explore further there in that avenue. And whoever knows, who's like, if black soldier fly or barbarian farmer knows anything about the details of, like, the oil market, the extracted oil, what can we do with it, the oil of the BSF, please share your knowledge there with us, brothers. Thank you.
As for me, in terms of oil extraction, I'm not in that level at the moment, but I know for a fact that oil is extracted from the larvae as well. It's not only limited to the oil. The cosmetic industry, the shells. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with the black soldier fly. After the fly emerge, there is that the shell. That shell actually is needed within the cosmetic industry. Uh, in Europe, they are using that to do your cosmetics for ladies. So the benefits of black soldier flies are very unlimited. There are so many. With the guys who are doing strawberry farming, they need that the shell as well. You've got your organic manure. So there are endless things that you can do with the black soldier fly.
Yes, Barbarian Farmer?
What I'd like to add on to that in response to Kels is that when you're speaking about extraction of oil, both for the soya that you say we are replacing using black soldier fly and or the black soldier fly itself, then you've already surpassed what we are at this level of feeding it to poultry, because now that is the value addition bit of black soldier fly farming. So in that state, you would be actually simply doing black soldier fly farming for the extraction of the oil and any other value chain that you can take it to. But when you are feeding it to your poultry, remember, even before all the modernization of poultry production, the poultry used to feed on maggots and larvae at their raw capacity. That means that is why a black soldier fly is called a crude protein source for the poultry. That means at their natural state, it is actually not harmful to the birds and cannot really affect them because of the fat content that they have in it. The only challenge I know would be if you are feeding it to laying birds, then the higher protein content within your feed would actually mean that the birds would actually be getting fatter than they should and would be getting to weights that are above their egg laying or the recommended egg laying weight. That is between above 2.2 kg, and once they get to that level, then the egg production again comes down. But if you're just feeding it to birds that are at growth stage, then there isn't so much challenge, because even according to the organization I said as well, they said that the biological composition of the bird would actually also guide it in controlling it when it comes to how much protein it would take in. So it wouldn't really be an issue of how much of it you can feed, but once you are replacing the commercial feed at a ratio of 30 to 40% of it, then the birds should just be okay without any further negative effects.
Amanda, are you still here?
Yes, Abuti, I'm still here. Okay, I just realized that Kingsley dropped off. He was supposed to be our next speaker. But we do have Protein Master, and they're actually the kings of Black Soldier Fly. Welcome to the space.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to also just share. I must first apologize. I've been here all throughout from the time we started. The only challenge is that I'm not very good in technology. Just now that I have managed to see where I'm supposed to press so that I can speak. It's so unfortunate, but I'm really encouraged to hear what everybody is saying. Let me start by saying my name is Robert Wanjoy Kitua. I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa, but originally I'm from Kenya. So I'm happy to hear my brother from the area called, is it Kisumu, speak about the black soldier fly farming. Well, for us, for me and also my brother, we run a channel called Protein Master Nairobi, and anyone who has gone searching for black soldier fly, we in the YouTube, you probably might have had a chance to see what we are doing. We are basically more on training of farmers, which we've done over 1,700 in Kenya, and quite a big number. Well, I would have loved to contribute much on what everybody is saying from the point of how to farm this BSF from the scratch. What about it? But I'm also happy to hear about those who are looking for how to extract the oils. We are also in talks with companies that are doing that. we have seen the improvement that black soldier fly farming does. We've done research together with the CPE. We are working together closely with one of the university in Kenya called Jaramogi Odinga University, where we are currently continuing with the research, but we have seen improvement of almost 40% for the broilers farmers have saved. That is in our country in Kenya and also in Nigeria, where we ran a test on that. For that one, that is that we've said about the layers, it's quite a little bit tricky with the layers because of the fat content, and I really appreciate the Barbarian for mentioning that. And so with the layers, it's a little bit tricky to replace fully. We've heard of places where we have fully replaced the larvae itself. The results were not very good, but they were encouraging. But where we've replaced the fish meal and left the soy meal. So we've done all those tests together, and we can say that we have something that is a gold mine within our continent, because we've got quite a lot of waste that we can turn into proteins. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your input, sir. We are definitely going to go through your YouTube channel and just check it out and learn more. DJ Tex has also fallen off. I don't know. Okay. How are you, DJ Tex? Anel, Sabon. Okay, I think we're having a connectivity problem. Anele, are you there? Okay, guys, we're having issues. We're having issues. I don't know, Kingsley, if you wanna come back, you have a few minutes while we ask our speakers to close. Abuti, unless you still had something else that you wanted to cover.
No. All my questions are answered, and I think yes, we should close the space. I think we've exhausted quite a minute and a half, and I'm grateful that we have the speakers that we have here, and I thank them for their time. But yeah, I think we can start with the closing remarks, or you can take it from here, and then we can head towards closing the space.
Okay, we have two more requests, and it will be the last ones that we take. Kingsley, shoot before your network cuts again. Good evening.
Good evening, fellow farmers. Thank you for the space. Actually, while I was losing the network the site, I think when I came back, my question were addressed. And I was actually going to ask about the broilers, that can we feed the black soldier flies to the broiler chickens? I think the question was asked before, but it was addressed actually partially when the Barbarian farmer was saying that he's actually feeding them to the road runner chickens, but the advanced one.
Okay, so are you saying that you got your response when it was said that you can actually replace all other protein components of broiler feed fully?
Yes, that's when I got it. Thanks, Table Shaker.
All right, thanks, Abuti. Good evening, Kumbelo.
Good evening, everyone. Firstly, thank you so much for this informative space. I got to start following a couple of you guys, and I've been so interested in starting the whole poultry farming. I recently relocated from Cape Town back to Limpopo so that I can, get fully involved, especially because I'm working from home. I'm in the software development. So I've done a lot of reading on BSF and even started getting a few equipments. from abroad to Limpopo, and I definitely am so excited to hear a couple of guys from Kenya. I've watched a lot of your YouTube videos, Protein Masters there, and I think I got into the space a little bit late. But what I was interested was in terms of starting my own colony. If there was anybody who's selling any eggs that I can buy, so that I can start the process. My interest is more in the layers and also in tilapia fish in order to feed them BSF. But I'm also looking at having a mixture of creating, I think it's Tsohang that I've been following to start, creating our own feed that can be packaged and sold to a lot of other um, poultry farmers around Limpopo. Thank you.
Protein Farmer, were you taking? Okay, I know Protein Farmer is in Cape Town, and Black Soldier Fly is does he fall under Mpumalanga? Putsizwe, do you fall under Mpumalanga, or are you in Gauteng?
I'm in Gauteng.
Okay, yes. So there you have it. I think with Kumbela, you can contact Black Soldier Fly because he is selling. In order for you to start your own colony, and Protein Masters is also selling, and they're in Cape Town. So those are your South African plugs.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
And I don't know if you had another question, maybe, or are you sorted?
Yeah, I think on my side for now I'm sorted. I don't want to speak too much. I'm really listening and learning. So I am in the very beginning stage. I will try and maybe just ask a couple of you guys, even in terms of getting the best layers and what to look out for. So I'm really a beginner, but thank you so much for everybody's contribution. This is really valuable, and I think it will really build up in terms of getting more young people into poultry farming, and especially also looking at the feed production. So yeah, I will definitely just be looking out for more of these spaces and learning from you guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Wonderful. I think with that being said, we do have Q&A spaces. We are going to have one next week Tuesday. So basically, what we have decided we'll do is we're going to have topics like today, and then the following week we would have Q&A. And Q&A poultry spaces is limitless. You ask anything poultry related, be it you're a startup, be it you want to start, be it you experienced a problem during the week with your flock, whatever it may be that you have always wanted clarity on, and maybe you've DM'd me and I didn't respond. You can come put me on the spot in the space because sometimes I ignore your DMs, guys. I go there and I'm like, yeah, not today. I'm playing. I don't ignore. I just ignore the ones that don't shoot to the point. If you go there and you say hello, me, I'm not gonna respond. Shem, sorry guys. I don't respond to hellos. You must send hi, daddy, da, and then I will respond. Hi, hello, how are you? I'm fine. No, sorry, I don't do that. So next week Tuesday at 7. Do we do 7:30 or 7 p.m. Abuti? Because we started it on my birthday and it started at 7:30. But I don't know if we should
Yeah,
continue with 7.
your birthday confused things. I told you, Horo, you're too old. You should start skipping birthdays. No, I was thinking that the space is starting at 7:30. Okay, the space is starting at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. No, I'll definitely be on the lookout for the Q&A. And I think one thing that Tsuhang I always see on your tweets, I think it's complaining about funding and capital. I think one area we can really maybe start targeting, where I know they do have funds, It's at the Labor Activation Program (LAP) within the UIF. I do know that they have grants every year where they give grants to companies that are looking at creating job opportunities and absorbing a lot of new employees. They also look into those that can train those people that used to contribute to the UIF but are out of work. So if you have a proposal to that you can create jobs or train people that are now unemployed but used to contribute to UIF, they really look for such proposals. So if anybody needs the links there or the email for that, please do let me know.
This is what these spaces are about. This is definitely it for me. Thank you so much. Guys, let's do share information. I mean, especially towards the end of the space, because some of the information you might find that next week it will be closing date. So if you know there's something open, an application in Pumalanga for land, maybe there's state land. Applying doesn't hurt. The only thing that it does, you might take a few minutes to fill in some documents and a few rands to spend on printing ink. But at the end of the day, you apply and then you keep it moving. If they call, yay. If they don't, you keep it moving. You'll never know where your luck is going to come from. So thank you so much, Abuti. And yeah, let's continue doing that. So I think we will be closing the space, and I'm just gonna ask everybody in the space, actually everybody who's in the speakers panel, to do their closing remarks, motivation or advice, whatever it may be that is on your mind. It is free to be given so that somebody can take, because you'll never know who needs to hear what. So we will start with the Barbarian Farmer, and then Papa Rola, Protein Masters, Black Soldier Fly, Kels, Kingsley. Oh, there's somebody that requested P. Longe. Good evening. Did you have a question before we close? I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly. P. Longe, Philip.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, I didn't request anything. I'm sorry for maybe my thing. I went some, but
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just.
these big
I was
fingers.
just listening. Maybe in another space, I will have some question to ask. But I'm following all of you, and it's very interesting to hear and to follow what is happening. My name is Philippe. I'm normally actually from DRC, but living in South Africa. Very interesting to do farming that I've started back home. But that's good. I'm following all of you, and I think I'll DM some of you for some questions and the guidance on what's supposed to be done back home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. Barbarian Farmer, last words, my brother.
Thank you. I'm really happy to actually be on the same platform with the Protein Master, because before I started Black Soldier Fly, I think I also went through his YouTube channel. I never knew it would come to a point where I'd be speaking on the same platform that he is. So that's, for me, somehow is an achievement. I also thought that maybe the Kenyan accent would be mine alone to share, but yeah, here we go. So what I'd actually say is that we don't really need to complicate this. I had one of the guests on the space asked about if he has to actually get products from abroad, or is it DIY. The whole point of introducing black soldier fly to feed our poultry is to actually cut down the cost of production. So it would really be beating logic if we actually again shifted and started spending so much in doing the setup for the black soldier fly. In my case, I would actually just advise you, if you find that getting the black soldier fly larvae is expensive for you, then just try doing what I do here. Put some chicken manure or anything, or just your kitchen waste somewhere in a pail, and just make sure it's moist and it's somewhere that flies can access it, but not to smell for you. I guarantee you there will be black soldier fly larvae in it within the first week. You only need to know how to identify what they look like and separate them from the normal domestic flies. And then in terms of the setup, use what is actually available for you. You don't have to go for the very expensive stuff. The only thing that you may have to acquire is actually just the insect net. All the other things you are able to make on your own, on your farm, at your own capacity, and you learn from there. The only way to do this is to actually learn through the process of doing it. If you want to get the black soldier fly, I think the best stage for you to get them is when they're approaching their pupal stage. That is when the larvae are actually about to turn uh, dark or gray and actually hatch into flies. From there, henceforth, then you can actually experience the entire cycle of the black soldier fly larvae production, because you'll start from eggs and hatch them on your own and feed them and actually see what works for you. It's easier when you work with what you have at hand than when you see it on a YouTube channel or when you see it on another person's farm that you see is so much complicated. That's all I have to say right now.
Wow, thank you so much. Papa Rula?
Oh, thank you, Amanda. You know, as the previous speaker just said right now, I actually had some few manures that I just put on the side because generally this arrangement with the guys, not formal, but I've got a cattle farmer that usually takes my my manure after get clean at the chicken houses, and I give him so many bags every week after it clean and stuff. So for the past week, he didn't come to collect, and then we just put the manure on the side, not close to the chicken houses, but just a bit further. And surprisingly today, and in fact, I was so ignorant about these flies that you guys are talking about, honestly. But today I saw like a whole lot of group of flies that looked differently. They were so black. They were not as green as the ones that you know, like the domestic ones. And then, like as the speaker just said, then I realized maybe kitty black soldier flies. But I'll go and look for them tomorrow, and I'll give feedback somehow later. But thanks for the information. At least you opened up something, and I'm happy for that. And if that is the case, then I'll research more and read more and ask more questions about them. I was just ignorant about it because of our traditional way of doing chickens. And, you know, we don't look at ways to cut our costs in terms of protein generation or manufacturing, whatever the case might be. But thanks for that, my guy. I really saw something today, seriously and for real. So just when you said maybe where you put manure, you can start see them growing and stuff like that. So I'll look into that and stuff. But anyway, thank you so much for the space. As I said previous, like earlier, Gary, don't be hard on us, Amanda. The lesser you are hard on us, the more DMs and the more proposals you get. Okay, that's my last word. Bye bye.
It's fine. I'll take it. Yeah, you know, in the mantra, the Bureman mantra, Bur Plan, such situations really force us to now look at other avenues to save, because we love farming and we don't see our lives outside of farming. We definitely have to make plans and learn more. And thank you, Abuti Tsuhang, for that. BSF, closing remarks, my brother.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank Vugani first and foremost, and you, Tebu Sheka, for inviting me into this platform. Poultry farmers, this is yours. Black soldier farming, it's yours to take. For you guys to save and maximize on your profit, I really believe you have to invest into this thing of black soldier fly farming. Get to know it, do it, and you maximize your profits on your poultry business. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. Keleto?
Oh, hi. Hello. Yeah, yeah, in closing, what I can say, Gore, is to agree with Zohang Hore. Black soldier fly is a potential gold mine, and we should really start doing it. The only reason I haven't started doing it is I just don't have the place or the space to do it. But I'm looking, and as soon as I do, I am on it. I will DM you for advice, Bratuhang. Yeah, no, let's dig for this gold. Let's start with what we have and see how far we get there. I mean, every time I clean my brooder house, like every single time, maybe not now in the winter, but I've gotten a visitor from a black soldier fly when I clean my brooder for my chicks that I raise my chicks in. And so that means there's potential to capture them from the wild. You don't even have to buy eggs or larvae. But I've also seen online shops that sell eggs for not that much. So, it's really not that much. The value chain is so vast. There's so much that can be done with the products and the byproducts and the potential to eliminate waste. The only thing you feed them can get waste from crop farmers, from markets, from people that sell veggies on the street. It's yeah, like it. I think about it a lot, and um, I'm really excited about it. And anyone who wants to try it, nah, I'm game. Let's do this thing.
All right. Thank you. Abutu Kingsley, do you have any closing remarks?
Thanks, Temshika. Thanks everyone who made this space possible. What an interesting topic we had. It's very unbelievable that things are just with us. I also wanna observe closely on waste, chicken waste, and to do thorough research on this one, and maybe make a lot of income because nowadays the chicken feed the prices are too high. But this was an eye-opening space. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Abuti. Putkumbela, closing remarks?
Yeah, I think on my side, this was a great opportunity to get to meet some of the players in this industry. I think honestly, for us as young South African farmers, we have an opportunity to go global. We've got people from Kenya who are also advising us, and I think it's time that we as Africans become producers. There's no reason that if we start a proper supply chain, we can even export to outside of South Africa. For me, it never made sense that we were importing chicken from USA and from Brazil. And I think, even when I was talking about importing stuff, I was importing machinery. I think I've also shown Zohang one of them that are important for grinding and milling so that, the process of creating our own feed, we can start it locally. And yeah, for me, this is an opportunity to actually even create job opportunities and empower communities. Government alone won't be able to do that and create jobs. We can start creating those jobs. There's a lot of spin-offs from BSF also looking at the frass organic manure that can be used for other types of farming. So I think for me, I'm really grateful to each and everyone who has organized this space, and I think collaboration is the key in all this. When we collaborate, we achieve more. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Actually, when you're speaking about importing a grinder, there's actually a guy in Hammanskraal who manufactures um, feed mixers and hammer mills. So a hammer mill, one I think 15,000, and his prices are actually quite good. And the mixer that I asked for is 100 kilogram, which would make I think 1 ton in a few minutes or something like that. I just forgot the figures. And that one was going for I think 20,000 rands, something like that, with 1 year guarantee. So I can link you guys up with such a person if you find yourself in need. We actually bought a thresher for 11,000 from him. Yeah. So yeah, guys, I okay, I think everybody has done the closing remarks, excluding the man of the hour, Abuti Tsogang.
Hey, yeah, thank you. Guys, let me tell you, now I did see the larvae and I ran, guys. Yo, I really ran because I looked at it and I saw worms in my chicken house, you know. So 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 yeah, I was like wondering what the hell is this thing. So I called the guys who were working there and say, "You guys, what's happening here?" Turns out it's one of those houses that they took too long to clean. So yo, okay, it's gonna take a lot of getting used to because I'm really afraid of insects. I won't lie. When I see a spider in the house, my wife usually takes care of it. I don't like small things. I will fight a big guy, I'm fine, but the small stuff. This is like that gold that I see and I'm afraid to touch. But yeah, guys, I can't be the only one, eh? Am I the only one? Mr.
You're alone.
Roller, are you, huh?
You're alone on this one.
No ways, man. I can't be the only one. Look, I'm not afraid of the fly. I'll let it land on my hand. No problem. But that worm just looked a little bit scary because I didn't even know the name of it. But now that I've done research, I saw that wow, they were there, and the chickens were actually the what you call the indigenous chickens were feeding on them. They enjoyed them because there's a lot of them that are just forcing to run around there. So yeah, guys, I'm not gonna give you much information on this because my information is just YouTube and Google. Thank you very much. I will just give you advice on a few things. First of all, I did mix yellow maize and I mixed concentrate, and I managed to make 550 kgs, which I fed it all to my current cycle of 4 weeks. Yeah, producing feed is the only way. I have done a calculation that shows I can save 9,000 rands a month if I produce my own feed that way. So it's doable. I thank the guys who have been calling me and giving me advice. I've seen guys from Senegal call me to tell me how to go about, and it worked quite well. So what I also want to say is, guys, farming is life, and you must be ready for it mentally as well. I've tweeted that the biggest part of farming is your mind, the preparedness, mind preparing yourself for the challenges that you're going to face, and also the character, because there's something that you become as a farmer. So if you are coming in it for quick gains, it's not going to work. I have to tell you. Um,
there's a lot that's happening. I'm getting DMs from people asking that I talk to certain farmers who are at the point of breaking. And if you look at my my bio, you'll see there's links. There's a link to Telegram groups. There's one group for crop farmers, and there's another one for broiler farmers. Let's talk, guys. There's people. There's a farm worker who passed away after he woke up and found that 800 of his chickens died. And I say that actually the guy was, I know he died of a heart attack, but I once experienced a loss of 1,600 chickens, and I'm still here. I'm fine. It just happened and it passed. And there's people who've lost 10,000 chickens and they're still fine. But look, there's one who lost 800 and passed away. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is have somebody that you can talk to in farming. You're in the space now. Follow somebody. Have a constant or regular conversations with people, because when you're facing a hell of a situation, you might think you're the only one, and you might think you've made a wrong decision by maybe having left another hustle or something like that. You haven't made the wrong decision. You're in the right place. These challenges are what are making us. 3 5 years down the line, what others are calling a challenge, it will be a walk in a park for you. And there's a reason for that. It's not all flowers and roses and all that. I'm saying this because a lot of people come into my DMs also, and they think maybe it's like as easy as it is in the space. It's not that easy, but it's also life and it's also addictive, and you might even end up doing it and not doing it for money. I'm enjoying it, guys. I'm enjoying all the experiments I'm doing, and I do wish and I wish that we had some form of a capital that was looking for local farmers like other farmers were looked after by the previous regime. Unfortunately, we don't. So we just have to hang together and do the best that we can do. Yeah, so join the groups on my bio. Let's see what we can do. Maybe in future we'll even have a farmers fund where we can contribute 5 rands each. Who knows? Because I know if I say 10 rand, many of you are gonna leave the space right now. So yeah, 5 rands in future. When you join those groups, we might talk about those type of things. That if a farmer wakes up and finds all his flock dead, we are able to take from that and help a farmer. You know. And in closing, so there's a guy who's a lawyer who called me about the idea, and I told them that actually it's a good idea also, because we host these spaces and we are giving people lessons so they don't make some mistakes. I mean, look at me. I nearly went and bought a mosquito net, you know, or for black soldier fly, and only to learn here from my brother's boo that it's a treated net. So it's going to kill them, you know. So you don't have to make a mistake to learn from one. You can learn from other people's mistakes. People like me who are ready to give you, to tell you, laughing about the mistakes that they have done. I mean, I've told you that at one stage I placed eggs, like 3,000 eggs, and only about 20 hashed, you know. So you don't have to make that mistake. I made it, I paid the price, and I'm able to laugh about it today. But what's the point of you knowing us and you also go and you place your incubators in a wrong place and you only hatch one egg out of 3,000, you know? Those are the stuff that heart attacks are made of. But some of us, obviously, because we've seen a lot, we're no longer faced by such things. We just keep going forward. So strength and courage to you guys. Thanks for joining us, and do join us again next week, Tuesday. Question and answers, and we always welcome speakers, those who are knowledgeable, to join us on the panel of speakers to answer questions as well. This is not only about the host and the co-hosts, it's about everybody, and it's ours. It's not owned by anyone. Yeah, and those will be my closing remarks. You guys know that I love you. It's not necessary for me to say. Table Shaker, you can take it away.
Thank you, Abuti. Yes, people must avoid things that heart attacks are made of. And guys, you need to stop being bully employers, Because how does an employee kill themselves because they are scared of you? Perhaps you're the type of employer that believes that a chicken should not die. You shout every single time a chicken dies, but you are actually a person that is not very present at your farm, because if you were present, you would know that chickens die. I would probably need counseling services if my employee killed themselves after things happened on my farming space. To be quite honest, let's be better employers. I think that's something else that we are going to discuss in our spaces. I think perhaps it should be in Q&A, because it's a topic that can be covered as a whole space. It should be in Q&A. I mean, employee turnover, how much we pay our employees, what do we do, or how to avoid theft, and to also know the mortality is real. For example, because with me, I would say, no, just keep the chicken there, and then I will see it when I come back to perform a post-mortem, but to also just confirm that my chicken really died. Such things, we should discuss them in Q&A. Budngomane, closing remarks. Budngomane, are you there? Papa Rola, yes, Abuti?
Yeah, just I just got a message as you guys were doing the closing remarks. Ne? There's another chicken farmer down the road. Um, he's doing 16,000 capacity per cycle. He's doing well. And then I just got an information that they got robbed because some customers came during the day. They bought so many chickens, but it was in a way of but how one or are the security measures in that space or in that place. And then unfortunately now, like 10 minutes ago, they just got dropped. So the guy, the farm owner, he just notified me, or this is what happened to his farm, and yeah, they took so much of money, and then I'm just sharing this to you, or as farmers, there is that potential to be robbed or for criminal activities to take place. So just make sure our security is there. If you go insurance way, it must be done that way, or if you can beef up security, do so, because re cash sometimes as informal traders of chickens. So yeah, I just had to share this with you right now, and I'm just so emotional about it because I know the guys have been to their farm, they come to mine as well, and yeah, it's unfortunate all this incident happened to them right now. But anyway, yeah, good luck, Table Shaker, by the way. Thank you.
Very good luck. Ish, I need it. What? That is terrible news. This is why, honestly, guys, let's get firearm licenses. I know that as Black people, actually, even when I mention it as a woman, people, they raise their eyebrows at me, and I wonder that, okay, so I'm a farmer. Just because I'm a female, you think I want a gun to shoot a man that cheats on me? What's going on, guys? Like, can you give me credit? Okay. So, guys, let's get firearm licenses. Let's get, if you can, once you have an employee that has stayed with you for long enough and you have moved them to management, perhaps it's time you invest in that person. Get them to get a gun, pay for it, let them have a gun if they are the ones that are full time on your farm. Have guns. Let's have guns, guys. This is South Africa. Southern Africa, unfortunately, crime has been so normalized that living in fear is something that we should be used to. Earlier on, I was on the phone in town, and I thought to myself, what if somebody comes and grabs this phone? Because you're not in your house. You can't just this. So it's not on. We're really sorry for what has happened to a fellow farmer. And unfortunately, we called someone that does insurance into the space once upon a time. And the way that they insure poultry farmers is actually quite painful. They are cutting out all the risks that we do have that would cause us to actually go ask for a payout. They only insure for natural disasters. They don't insure us for for a disease outbreak. So if you have to cull all of your flock, if you're doing layers especially, and you have to cull your flock while it's still laying, they don't pay you. So such things, it's very hard as poultry farmers. Honestly, we have it really hard. And hopefully they do have insurance. And if they don't, maybe what Abutizuhan was saying, if they're black, sorry to say this, but if they're black, we can run a GoFund something crowdfunding type of vibe for them. Askis guys, I'm not a racist. You can't be racist if you don't have money. But if they're black, we can start, even if we're starting them on buying chicks, assisting and raising 10 rand, 10 rand, 50 rand, 100 rand here on Twitter to get them on their feet again. I'm willing, I'm game to do that. And yeah, but over above it all, thank you so much guys for joining the space, and looking forward to many more spaces. Q&A is the next big thing. I really believe so, because we're experiencing so much, and it's nice to actually talk about it as it happens, because it might happen to the next person as well. We actually had programmed the space to only last 30 minutes, and it lasted, I think it was more than 2 hours. So there's just so much information that we can learn from each other. And yeah, it's a sharing situation. On the 28th, of June, which is the last Tuesday, we are going to have a space on information that we would need in order to get into the export market. Since we're getting imports, we can also try to export our chicken to the EU. There is a space that was hosted by Americans where they were talking about how this way I'm not taking any more requests. They were talking about how they are actually having a shortage of chicken. Yes, Abuti.
No, no. I wanted to say I didn't see Zizwe requesting that he must please join us next week, Tuesday as well at 7 o'clock, because I would like to ask him a lot of questions pertaining to how he will use cannabis to help us with that environment control. It's very important. Sorry, I was waiting for you to finish first and then let him know that we would like to have him in the space, because brooding is important. Thank you.
Yes, he must be, definitely. We need that thermo to keep the temperature proper in the houses. Even in the incubation house, I'm doing things here to try and do my hatching to happen the way that I want it, because of extreme temperature, and my area is cold. It can get to -2 sometimes. Most of the time it's 4 degrees in the morning. So it gets really cold. So we do need such things. You must please join in the space on Tuesday. And yeah, basically guys, those are the two last spaces that we have. Is Q&A next week, 28th. It's the chicken exports. With Black Soldier Fly, we might be able to get our chickens to have these big cuts that they want in the EU, and then we can export. We're gonna have two speakers. One is from South African Poultry Association, and the other is from Kenya, Mr. Robert. You guys probably know him. A lot of you guys should know Mr. Robert. He has a lot of information on how Africans can export chicken. So, yeah, guys, that's basically it from my side. I do offer hatching masterclass. It's a virtual course. I've seen some people that want me to start teaching them before they have an incubator. I don't think that is a good idea. But however, you can contact me before you build the structure. If you're going to build a structure from scratch to place the incubator, while we wait for the incubator, then I can tell you on the structure. Don't build the structure if you're going to build it from scratch without contacting me if you are going to need my services. My prices are going to go up end of June. Feed price has gone up, fuel price has gone up. I'm also going up. Okay. So yeah, basically that's that, guys. Contact me before the prices go up, and you might get a spot, and I'll teach you how to incubate and not hatch 2 eggs, but hatch more eggs out of the fertile eggs.
Talk about
Okay,
laughing at a
guys.
person's wound, eh? Talk about laughing at a person's wound.
You don't laugh at a man when he's down. You only start laughing once he's up. You up. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great evening. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.